and achieving more. Telling it just like it is. Most of all, keeping it real. Are you ready for real talk? Changing lives and communities. Real talk. Saving all our families. Real talk. Bringing hope for you and me. Real talk. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.
Well, hello there. I want to thank you for tuning in to another powerful segment of the Real Talk with Judy live radio show, where talks are real, deal with real issues, real people, and real talk. And that's real talk. I am so excited about the understanding being released on today's show. I want everyone to get on if you could. We got so much going on. Oh, this is cool. We got so much going on. These days. We're getting ready for election. We're getting ready for just a whole lot of things. And as I was thinking about all the things that we are embarking upon, so many people dealing with so many things, and it's just a lot going on in life. I told a young lady yesterday, one of the things that must be consistent, must be a constant in our life is our relationship with the Lord. That has to stay paramount. It has to stay up top. And because I am really excited about today's show, I believe today's show is going to help us going to help all of us in so many ways. I want to invite you or ask you if you would to go ahead and tag others. If you're on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram or somewhere, they ask you to go ahead and share this. Go ahead and share this show already. Go ahead and get it shared. Tag, call, text, whatever, and invite people to join us during this broadcast. While I go ahead and do this, I was thinking this morning that I am really standing on the shoulders of my and the legacy of my mom and my dad. Even as I was attending our convention last week, just standing on the shoulder of my mom in the church world and my dad and mom in the community. My mom, Dr. Irma Hunter Wesley, my dad, Mr. Sylvester George Wesley. Both of them have since passed, but I just thank God for the legacy. And every day I say their name, they would never die. I would keep that African proverb in my mind, in my life. I speak their name every single day, so they never die. All right, ever, ever, ever. And their work shall be forever done. So we are their living legacy. My sisters, my nieces and nephews, we are their living legacy. And we're going to keep going. So, my mom is the reason why I talk. My mom and my dad, actually, because they're instilling us such confidence in dealing with issues and different things. So I want to just say, I will always honor them. They will forever be in my memory, forever be in my memory. So, and also to my amazing husband, I just say thank you, sweetheart, for just always being there and just for doing everything you do. You're a wonderful man, and I thank you. Your wonderful leadership and your love for the people that you serve and all everywhere. And I want to give a heartfelt thank you and appreciation to my marketing director, Priscilla John Lewis. Thank you, Priscilla, for all that you do to help. I greatly appreciate you. And then I want to thank you to some of the greatest people I know. So many of you I meet on the street, so many I meet in various places, even down in Tampa last week. I've met so many people who listen to my show. And there's so many people who want to listen to my show. So I want to say thank you. Thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And I want to thank the audience. Thank you, audience, for coming back each week. Thank you all for sharing. Those who will listen now, those who will listen later, I want to say thank you. Thank you so very much. So I'm glad you're here with me today. So listen, family, turn the volume all the way up, pull your chairs close to the table right now, and welcome again to another powerful hour of the Real Talk with Judy live radio show, where the talks are all real. Let's go. Let's get started. So my discussion today is fix the building, not the builder, separating the person from the problem. And so we're going to look at fix the building, not the builder, separating a person from the problem. Also, we're going to look at that there's more than one solution to a problem. And sometimes we get so big out of shape because we think it should be our way or this is the solution. No, there is no the solution to anything. And so we're going to dive into that today. And the reason why I'm doing that, just seeing so much divisiveness and people getting angry because it's not done their way. I have learned, and in my leadership class that I just received that master's in, there there are so many different ways that we can do something. And then there is a matter of sitting down, collaborating, talking about it, and see what worked the best. Okay, what worked the best. And that's one of the things I really love about my bishop that I have now, is that he's a man of collaboration. He want to sit and hear. Now he does have, which all leaders do, they have things in place and they need it to operate a certain way. They need to go a certain way, which is okay. And then you sit down with those who work with you to see exactly how you're going to put the puzzle together. But before we get into that, there's another area I want to look at, and that is fix the building, not the builder, separating the person from the problem. Fix the building, not the builder, separating the person from the problem. Let's be completely honest about where we are standing today. The modern culture has handed us a broken, toxic blueprint for conflict. We live in a call out society where the moment a disagreement happens, people stop looking at the issue, they stop talking, they stop showing up, they start trying to demolish the individual. We sneak this. That's my word. We sneak this on social media. We throw personal daggers in our marriages, or in marriage. I'm not gonna say ours, but in marriages, personal daggers are thrown. We launch character assassinations at work and in the church. We try to destroy the person instead of addressing the problem. Because on this show, on this show, we operate on a standard of excellence. I came to tell you that when you attack the person, you drain their internal battery. You force them to pull up a heavy wall of defensiveness, and you completely ruin the atmosphere of the room. You can't fix a structure crack if you're busy throwing bricks at the general contractor. Do you understand? You can't fix what's happening if you continually throwing bricks at the general contractor. We got to do better, people. It's time for us. I mean, you got adults acting like kids. You know, kids run away and don't show up. I ain't talking to you no more. That's children's stuff. You know, then you get in, you assassinate their character. That's children's stuff. Family, look at me. Look at me. Look at me right now. Those on the radio, you can't see me. Okay, but look at me. Disagreement is a natural part of growth, but disrespect is a calculated choice. When you dis- disrespect someone, that's your choice. You don't have to, you choose to. All right. So true authority doesn't mean you have to scream the loudest or tear someone down to prove your point. Master builders don't demolish the site, they stabilize the foundation. I just wish grown-ups would grow up. I really do. It is frustrating to have adults, or who's supposed to be adults, acting like children. You know, that's why some marriages don't stay together, because they're not acting like adults. Come on. Come on. You know, my husband and I've been married almost 45 years, but it didn't just happen overnight. We had to, we talk. We did that at the very beginning of our marriage. We talk. And we know that we won't always agree, but we did agree that we would come to a common solution in order to for the betterment of our marriage. Because we wasn't running, we wasn't planning on running away. We don't run away. I don't run away for stuff. I want to talk to me. You know, we're adult. The Bible says in business, be men, tall. Many times character assassination happen because someone may disagree. That's not necessary. You're supposed to, you're gonna disagree with your problem solution, with your solution to a problem. Sometimes you disagree because you got different ideas of how the problem should be solved. And we're going to get into that a little later, but you got to look at it from different perspective. It's not just your way. It's not just the way you see it. Someone told me, you don't call me, you don't call me, you don't call me either. Hello? You don't call me, I don't call you. So when we want to call, just call. You know, you don't pick me on your team. I don't never see you. I'm not gonna pick somebody who's not there. You understand what I'm saying? So there's more than one way to skin a cat. In other words, there are more than one solution to a problem. And you do not have to destroy someone else's character to get your solution to be the only right solution. It's not about destroying each other. Y'all, all of us are trying, all of us are working to make it in this society, every last one of us. And we need validation to others about who we are. There's no need in tearing each other down. Now, I'm not going to give, if somebody called me for a reference, I'm not going to give you a good reference if I don't know your work. I'll say, no, if I hadn't seen you in 6 months, I can't give you no good reference. Right? So today we are diving into a concept that has the power to salvage relationship, revolutionize workplaces, and heal divided communities. Our community is divided because we have people who want to tear each other down. Everybody who's running for office, and I'm going to start bringing on the candidates, but everybody who's running for office have a right to run for office. That anybody can run for office if you're old enough. Anyone, and you can pay the qualifying fees or get the petition. It doesn't matter. You can run for office. But this is what is disheartening. When you run for office, you don't have to disgrade somebody else. In my book, I wouldn't vote for you if anything. I just wouldn't vote for you because character assassination is necessary. You tearing down somebody else to get an office, you're not necessary. You're not. This is my opinion, Judy Mandrell. You don't deserve to be in a seat. Okay, just do your thing. And so the thing is, instead of tearing down someone else, that ain't necessary. Think about the last time you found yourself in a heated argument. Did you focus on resolving the issue, or did you focus on defeating the person standing across from you? Did you want to get your point across? Well, this is it. No matter what the conversation was about, you didn't listen so you can hear. You didn't listen so there can be a good, you already had settled in your mind what was going to be because you only looked at it from your perspective and then you criticized the other person. How can you criticize someone and you're not really listening to them? You cannot. And there's no need to criticize anyway. Okay, here's another public service announcement. All of us can be criticized. You ain't perfect. You have flaws. You're not doing everything right either. You're looking at it from your eyes and your perspective, but that's only from your eyes and your perspective, or someone who want you to be on their side, or they want something from you. So they go, girl, boy, you're right. No. Okay, so here it is. Fix the building, not the builder. Separate the people from the problem. We live in a world that is obsessed with tearing down the builder builder when a single brick falls out of place. Look at the man, the head of these United States. He just want to tear people down. He never he. If you go against him, you're torn down. If whatever you're torn down. How you get up and call somebody idiot, stupid, a fool? You look like a dog, or this kind of stuff. That's not necessary. That is not necessary at all. We confuse a flaw in the structure with a flaw in human character. Something um, 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 may not be done, but it's not a flaw in the person. We needed something Sunday at our church. We didn't have it, and it wasn't nobody's fault. We just didn't have it. We got it now because we worked on it yesterday, so we can have it for now on. You understand? But what happened when we stop attacking a person and start examining the blueprint? Let's look at our first major quote of the day from the legendary negotiation expert Roger Fisher and William Urey. A basic fact about negotiation, which is easy to forget in corporate and international transactions, is that you are dealing not with abstract representative of the other side, but with human beings. We treat humans differently. The Bible say, love your enemy, do good unto them who do you wrong, do unto others as you will have others to do. And the way you act, the way you tear down, if that's the way you want people to do unto you, so be it. And not only that, it can go back to your offspring. Even if it don't happen to you, it can go back to your children or your children's children. Do you understand? And so this is what we have to understand about human beings. And y'all hear me, members. It go for pastors too. They have emotions, deeply held values, different background, viewpoint. They are unpredictable. Humans are unpredictable. You know, you get people, we've had this to happen. Somebody, oh, I love you with everything in me. You this and you that. You're going to be my pastor forever. A week later, they're gone. So I stopped listening to that. I'm like, oh, okay. I stopped listening to that. Here's a question for reflection. Why is our first instinct during a disagreement to attack a person character is to attack a person character rather than address the problem itself? Why do we do that? What causes us to do that? That's a question for you to consider. What causes us to rather in a disagreement to attack a person's character rather than address the problem itself? Sometimes people come to you, well, I want to tell you about you. What about you? And this is my thing. We can see others so well, but we don't see us. Look, when you're looking in the mirror, the first person you see is you. Here it is. Here's the answer I want to give you. Survival, evolution, and ego. When our ideas are challenged, our brain process it as a literal threat to our survival. We go into a fight or flight mode. If someone's trying to help you do better, why would you go into a fight or flight mode? If they give you suggestions that will help you do better, or they see another part that can help you do better, why do people go into fight or flight mode? Attacking the character of the other person is a defense mechanism. It's an attempt to invalidate their argument by invalidating them. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. You don't have to invalidate a person's character. You don't have to destroy a person's character. I want people in my life, and I have them. I have some really good friends, and I really do have some wonderful people in my life. They have been tried. I've been friends with some of these people 30, 40 years and 50 years. 50, I got a friend, and she and I have been friends for 15 years. I'm sorry, 55 years. We've been friends for 55 years. 55 years. 55 years. A beautiful friendship. And we're still friends to this day. My sister, her whole family, I think her mom and daddy had 17 children. and one of her sisters served as my assistant in the national church and the regional evangelism. Okay. And so, but instead of, and if she tell me something, she had told me something before, and we've talked, and I already agree with it, and something, and I have friends like that right now. Some real good friends that I call real good friends. Real good friends are always real good friends, always. I have those in my church. I have about four, one, two, three, four. I think four of them been friends with over 30, 40 years. Ain't nothing come quickly and kick us out of friendship. They support that. And I had two of them told me that we're gonna be here, we're gonna be friends, and we'll be here because we met a lady who's been a member of our church for 7, 8 years, and those two said we plan on being here too. And they ain't just running away. That ain't what you do. Come on, life change, life hurt, life do. But we're gonna make this work. Okay? But when we do this, the original problem is left completely untouched. Let's break down that first phrase, fixing the building, not the builder. Imagine a master carpenter builds a magnificent house. And those of you who've been living in your house, like I think we've been living in our house now for about 35, 38 years, 40 years, something like, no, about 38 years, I think. So over time, due to shifting soil or heavy storm, a wall begins to crack. We don't have a cracked wall yet, but we got our driveway and doing some stuff. So do you think we're gonna hunt down the carpenter or hunt down the guy who put in the driveway and demand they banish from the trade, get them out of there? Now we done lived in the house 35, 38 years. Things start getting, so we're gonna go and banish and bad mouth. We're gonna go and bad mouth the carpenter, bad mouth the man who did it first. No. Or do we look at the soil, the materials, and the weather? Do we fix the wall? When we disagree with someone, whether it's a spouse, a coworker, a stranger, a friend, a pastor, we often yell at the builder. We say things like "you're lazy," "you're incompetent," or "you always do this." Eleanor Roosevelt beautifully put it like this: great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. When we sink into the character assassination, we are operating from a place of intellectual poverty. We won't always agree on everything. I really want to put that out in the atmosphere. We won't always agree on everything. My sisters and I, and my covenant friends, we have one of the best, some of the best relationship in the world. Man, we get mad with each other, we get upset with each other, and we don't stay no days either. We ain't doing that. About 30 minutes, hour, 2 hours, all us back on the phone, even with me and my covenant friend, my sister, my best friends. We don't do that. That's immature. So we don't do that. We have time to, number one, we were raised not to do that by mom and dad. So we'll go an hour. We will. We'll go. We ain't going no days and we ain't going no hours. But when I tell you we're gonna be laughing and going on, and then we'll say, hey, look, I'm sorry, it kind of took that out of whack, didn't I? And we just go on and we keep going. Why? Because it ain't important. That's not important. It is not important. That is not important. Here's a question for you. Okay, I got to give you this. As I said, we won't always agree on everything. Here it is. Agreement is not the goal of human civilization. Harmony is. Agreement is not the goal of human civilization. Harmony is. And harmony requires us to acknowledge that we don't have to tear another person's character down just to prove our point. That don't make you no big thing. I look at this election series. Why tear down people? Why try to find false information and put out there? Why? When they ask you a question, we want to hear the answer to your question. Everything that has been done is done. What are you going to do about tomorrow? You understand what I'm saying? Everything that has been done is done. What are you gonna do about? What are you gonna do about tomorrow? My sister, my older sister's on here. She'll tell you we ain't staying mad long, not at all. Cause when we get together, y'all, we want to laugh. We want to laugh, and that's what we do. My husband laughed because we could be on the phone for 2 or 3 hours, laughing and having fun. Even in the midst of that, sometimes somebody feelings may get whatever, and a little madness come, but you're not allowed to tear each other down. We're not allowed to do that. Here's a question for you to reflect on. How much energy do we waste trying? How much energy do you waste trying to prove someone else bad instead of trying to find out what is right? How much energy do you give trying to prove that somebody is bad instead of trying to find out what is right? How much energy do you get in? I give you an answer. Nearly 100% of our productive energy. See, that my sister, we do that. Okay? When you attack someone's character, they immediately stop listening to your logic. They build a wall. The conversation shift from a collaborative problem solving mission to a war of attrition. You might win the argument by silencing them, but you'll damage the foundation of the relationship. And sometimes, y'all, I believe that if you value a relationship, you value what's happening. Winning an argument ain't even necessary. That's. I'm not gonna destroy a relationship that I value over trying to prove that I'm right. Okay, so that happened. You didn't do it. I didn't do it. However it went, how are we going to move forward? What are we going to do now? If you're just joining us, I want to let you know we are unpacking the art of separating the people from the problem. How do we actually do this in real time? It requires a psychological tool called a third object. And in my graduate class, this is one of the things that we learn, and I want to share with you all now. It said, imagine you and your colleague are arguing over a project deadline. So if you sit face to face, like I'm sitting here now, face to face, staring into each other's eyes, the energy is confrontational. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me, Supervisor Paul, God bless you. I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. If you sit face to face, staring into each other's eyes, the energy is going to be confrontational. And you are looking at the problem through each other. So you're going to be confrontational. So this is what I learned in my leadership class. Don't sit across from each other when you're working or when you're having a problem trying to find a solution. Sit side by side. Pull up the project timeline in the front of you. Put the problem in the front of you. You all sit side by side and you look at the screen together. Okay, so you're no longer looking at the issue through each other's eyes, but now you're sitting side by side. You got the problem on in the front of you on your screen, and then that way the dynamic shifts. The project timeline becomes the third object. The problem timeline becomes the third object. It is the building. You and your colleague are both builders looking at the structure together, trying to figure out how to reinforce it. Don't that make sense? So you're no longer sitting in front of each other, looking at a problem, find it, because if you continue to sit there, then you're going to look at each other like the problem is you, or you have an issue, or because you didn't do that. No, put the problem in the front of you. Y'all sit on the side, and then you come up with a solution. That's a good thing to do with your board of directors and your board of trustees. Put the issue in the front of you, and then you all sit side by side. The issue is in the front. Even if you're planning something, put the issue in the front, and no longer are you looking at each other, but you all got your focus on the same thing, and you can perhaps you will see things in a different perspective. Wayne Dyer said it like this: hey, Victoria, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay, it changes the way you look at it. And Dwayne Dyer isn't just a fluffy feel good mantra, it is a profound description of how human psychology, neuroscience, and physical reality intersect. When you change, here it is, when you change your internal lens, you literally alter what your brain allows you to experience. When you change your internal lens, you literally alter what your brains allow you to experience. Okay, here's one of the, I want to give you what I learned in my class. It said, here's a deeper look into the mechanics of how changing your perspective changes your world. Okay, so the neuroscience is called, this is called the reticular activating system, RAS. Now I'm making this plainer than they made it in my graduate class, right? And so it said RAS act like a bouncer at the door of your consciousness. Listen to this. It only let in information that it deems important to you. And how does it know what's important? By what you choose to focus on. Okay, your brain, kind of like this AI stuff, it restores what you put into it, and things that are important to you, you attract it, and whether it's negative or positive. So the negative filter, if you walk into a meeting, listen to this real good. If you walk into a meeting or any place believing your boss dislike you, your RAS goes on high alert for the evidence to prove that what you think is true. So it will highlight their cross arms, their brief sigh, or a perceived tone in their voice. Meanwhile, it completely ignores the fact that they agree with your data or thank you for your time. You won't see that because you already got in your mind that your boss don't like you. So the only thing that you're gonna do and see is that you have to change your way of seeing things. Okay, you do. And when you constantly change the way you look at your boss, they are in you can look at God, they must be stressed. They're going through a lot. They have a lot on their plate. Wow, it must be heavy leading this team. It must be heavy for the pastor to do this. It must be heavy. I know what they're going through. Suddenly you notice that their exhaustion, you notice exhaustion rather than malice. The person didn't change, your filter changed. The cognitive reframing in psychology, this is known as reframing. So a frame decides what is inside your view and what is left out. For instance, when you put something in a frame, only thing going in there is what you put in there, right? So you get an 8x11 frame and you put in a 5x7 picture or whatever, you're going to have a lot of room left for criticism. But when you change the frame and you change the picture, you put in the size, you change the meaning of the entire picture. Consider this. Let's apply this to our personal relationship. When your partner forgets to take out the trash, the problem isn't you are irresponsible. The problem is the trash is full, and we need a better system to keep the house clean or keep the trash empty, right? One is an attack. The other is an invitation to collaborate. Don't be so attactive. That's my word. Don't always be on the attack. Don't always be on the defense. I know some people listen to this. They're not going to pay any attention, but I promise you, it'll help. It'll help. We're not trying to be defensive. And if you look at your life, sometimes we say, I got this, I got your life been like that. It's just now you decide to do whatever. Question. What would your daily life look like if every time someone upset you, you pause and ask, what is the objective problem here? Detach from this personality. What is the objective problem here? What problem are we having? What really need to be done? What is it that we need to do? The answer, your stress level will plummet. You will realize that most people aren't attacking you. They are simply acting for themselves or dealing with their own internal storm. When you separate the person from the problem, you give them the grace to be human while still holding the standard high for the situation. One person, you put a number 6 on the ground, you put the number 6 on the ground, depending on where you're standing, no need in arguing because the person standing, I think, to the top, let me see. The person standing to the top, I believe, will see a 6. The person standing to the bottom will see a 9. Both of them are correct from their perspective of how they're seeing it. So the problem isn't necessary for me to start fighting you. No, because you're seeing it from a different perspective. You really do see a 9. I really do see a 6. And what it showed, there's no one solution to it. So we don't have to start fighting over that. We looking at it through the lens. That's all. You don't have to tear down each other's character. You don't have to tear each other up. The bottom line, we do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. So we don't look at it as it is. We look at it as we are. And listen to this. The external world is a mirror of your inner state. If you want a better world, you don't start by rearranging the mirror. You start by changing the face, looking into the mirror. Michael Jackson sang a song about the man in the mirror. So we start right there, right? And once we accept that two people can both be right from different vantage points, we have to accept the logical conclusion. There is rarely only one right way to solve a problem. When we insist on a single solution, we fall into the trap of one-wayism. The belief that because method A works, method B must be wrong. That stalls the progress, kills innovation, and destroys team. Acknowledging and navigating multiple solutions requires a shift from binary thinking to parallel thinking. Here is an elaboration of why this happens. Okay, why multiple solutions exist. Problems are rarely one-dimensional. They usually involve competing priorities like time, money, quality, and human energy. Different solutions prioritize different currency. Imagine a company needs to fix a glitch software. Solution, the speed route. Patch the existing code. Cost, low money, low time. Risk is temporary band-aid. Rebuild the system from scratch. Look at the cost, the money, month of time, risk, long-term stability. Both are completely valid solutions. Neither is inherently wrong. The disagreement between team members usually isn't about the solution itself, but about which currency they value most at the moment. Solution for dealing with multiple, when a team or relationship is paralyzed because there are too many good ideas on the table, you need a framework to decide how to move forward without tearing down each other's character. Let me tell you something. There is no one way to do it. There is no one way to handle all of this stuff we got going on in the world. There is no one way. There is no one way to handle homicide, gun solution. There is no one way. No one has the ideal way. No one. I do believe as a child of God that we do, like the Bible says, if you lack wisdom, ask of God. And we ain't stopping the prayer. He gave us that. He told us, seek him. And in that prayer, you seek God for direction. That's why we ain't having no real answer. who praying and who we come to group, we coming together with all these ideas, ain't nothing working because we haven't sought the master. That we haven't sought God for direction. We want to bring all our ideas to look like this big hero, like what I got going on, what I say is the answer. There is no one answer. There is no one group who have all the answers. There is no one group of men or one group of women who have all the answers. The president don't have the answer. The government don't have the answer. They still trying to put people against each other, putting people in office who not just so they can care for what's going on. No, they're putting people in office that will help move their agenda only. But come together and let's see what works. Let's see what works. There is no one way that's gonna handle this. There is no one way. I am a believer with all my heart. Seek God for an answer. And then let's get the family. I am of the belief, and I'm a social worker. I am of the belief, fix the home first. Let's get some help in the home. Let's get some help with these young boys. I like these programs that's working with these young boys. But why get them at 13? Let's get these young folks at 5. The psychologists have proven, and data show that the most formative years of a child's life is between 0 to 7. That's where you're teaching them. That's where you're instilling in them. You're still yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am during that age group. Okay. And then we sit down and we collaborate. We collaborate. I was talking to some people, they told me we need to get daycare cheaper. Why? Daycare need to be more expensive. The children spend 8-9 hours at the daycare. We're gonna do it for $300. They learn to walk there. They learn to talk there. They potty train there. They eat breakfast and lunch and snack there. Why do it? They change diapers. They change diapers and they change diapers and they change diapers. They learn their ABCs and their numbers and their colors basically there. You give parents homework. They don't want to do homework. They want you to keep their child. They want you to raise their child. So my thing is put more money there. It's gonna cost. They talking about the 24-hour daycare. Who's gonna pay it? Are you gonna pay the workers? I think workers at daycare, especially if they can afford it, pay them people a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Your children in school have more than half the day. Parents don't do a whole lot with their children. The daycare workers do. The daycare workers spend most of their time with the children. My daycare opened at 7. I have parents who there 5 minutes to 7 sometimes. And they come pick and they close at 6 and they come pick them up at 5:59. So what's that? 10 hours, 12 hours? That's almost 12 hours, 10 hours. They deal with those children that long. And so what's the solution? Sit down and find out. Sit down and find out. I'm a believer in the smaller daycares, and not just because I have a small one, but you get to be more focused on there. Children with autism, children with developmental delay issues. We got all of this. Let's sit down. There is no one solution to gun violence. And gun violence it affects everything. We was at a meeting last night and they were talking about the single parents this. The young man said, I was raised by a single parent. There's a lot of men who were raised by a single parent who did not have a man in the home, and these kids are doing well. So is that the real issue? So we have to sit down and look at it and let's find out what's going on. And true leadership isn't about finding the single perfect solution. It's about building a culture that can evaluate multiple paths with humility, choose one with clarity, and execute it with unity. You may have to put several plans in action, several different ways to do it in action. There will not be one single way. Why? Because everybody is different. And so you have to see who can relate better with this, who can relate better with this. And just because you're experienced don't mean that you did it well. What are you doing now? If you're trying to put a group of young boys with men who still smoking weed and drinking and all that, is that really a good environment for them to be in? They still cussing and doing all this, and they not really. Is that really a good environment? You want to put young ladies with women who, is that still a good environment? You put them with manipulative people, is that still good? No, we got to sit down, be honest, and no one have to worry about who's getting the credit. Who's getting the credit? If we fix the solution and fix the problem, that's the credit answer. That's who get the credit. And most time, my sisters and brother, we want the same thing. We want the same thing. The tragedy in most cities is that the people fighting the problem end up fighting each other instead. That's the tragedy in most cities, most organizations, and unless you got some good people working with you, that you know their heart, you know their mind, and you can disagree or you can allow them to bring solution. My supervisor, current supervisor, man, that lady is phenomenal. That lady is phenomenal. We met and she met with us last weekend, and she wanted the different. And she's smart herself, but she want the different input. She want people who gonna work, people who will be consistent. You got time for wishy-washy people, y'all. We living in a very hard time. But as I said, the tragedy in most cities is that the people fighting the problem end up fighting each other instead. We're not trying to fight one another. We got problems, y'all. We got the mental health advocate fighting law enforcement advocate, the church shelters fight the city zoning board, the grassroots community leader fight the corporate donor. No, the fracture, because the thing is, what are we going to do? And I wanted to come on today to let you know we get there, we have meetings, and this is the solution. That is not the only solution. And everybody may not work with you. It don't make it wrong. Or they trying to do this over here because I'm doing. No, that don't make it wrong. How about this? How about as we set up these different plans, how about the leaders of them, or the executive boards of them, or the people moving it, come together quarterly and look at what impact everybody is making? How about that? How about that? All right, I'm about to end here. In my class, I learned this. There are three distinct zones. There's an upstream zone, which is the prevention zone. We don't fix the youth program and systemic poverty, the cycle never stops, often championed by community leaders and churches. Midstream is intervention. If we don't provide mental health and addiction recovery, housing won't last. That's often championed by healthcare professionals and nonprofits. The downstream, that's the crisis management. If we don't enforce the law and provide immediate shelter tonight, people die and neighborhood collapse, often championed by local government and law enforcement. Reality, if you only work upstream, people suffer today. If you only work downstream, you will run out of resources tomorrow. All three zones are entirely right, completely necessary, and entirely dependent on one another. So, to stop the infighting and align these moving parts, a community must change the infrastructure of how they communicate. And let me tell you something, communication is very important. And communication is not just me talking and you listening, or you talking and I'm listening. Communication is when we take time to sit and actively talk so we can get an understanding, and then we can move better. But we must understand there's no one way to solve the problem. A true leader does not say, do it my way. A true leader asks, what part of the wall are you building, and how can my piece support yours? That's how it works. in my Sunday school class Sunday, I had the ladies, and it was good, and that's how it was. So this is the vision of the church. So how does your piece fit into it? How does what you want to give fit into this? Where would you fit into this puzzle? You're a piece of the puzzle. Where do you fit? You got time for all this craziness? Got time for that. You ain't got time for that. Our world is in trouble, our homes are in trouble, our schools are in trouble, and we got people fighting, trying to tear each other down, and that's not what we need. And that's in any city. We need people to collaborate, we need people to work together, and mostly we need people to understand there is no one perfect solution to anything. None. If it was, maybe it would have already been done because everybody thought they had the perfect solution. There is none. There there are entities currently fighting the issue. When you map it out, you realize that the street ministry and the police department aren't enemies. Let me say it again. When you map it out, you realize that the street ministry and the police department aren't enemies. They are working different sides of the street. The street ministry can build trust where the uniform can't. And the uniform can provide safety where the ministry cannot. By explicitly acknowledging each group's unique superpower, you eliminate turf war. That we got going on with churches. Turf war. Oh, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. Do it and do it good. You know? Stop meeting. No, that won't work. No, that won't work. That solution, your solution may hit 15% of the problem, but there's 85% more left that can help with that. So we have to agree on something, but we got to meet, and we're not meeting so you can just say, this is what we're going to do. This is how it looks. This is it. No, no. There's only one silver buckshot with 100 small coordinated solutions flying in the same direction. When the city stopped demanding uniformity and start demanding coordination, the fighting stopped and the building finally get repaired. I want to leave you this with this. One size does not fit all. That's the final nail I want to give you. One size does not fit all. When you apply that truth to leadership, community building, and personal growth, it completely changes how you operate. It forces you to move from standard templates and start designing tailored strategies. When you look at the major area of impact, especially when dealing with people, organization, or complex social issues, the one size fits all approach is ineffective. It is actually dangerous. You cannot mentor or lead every person the same way. And and for those of you who parents, you know this. You got my mama had six. My mom and dad got six children in the house. All six of us was different. My sisters and I looked at each other this past week. They came to Temple with me, and sending Carolyn spent the time on WhatsApp. But all of us are different. We think differently. Okay, but we come together and we do that and we solve problems. Okay, one person might need a coach, another might need a cheerleader, a third person might just need you to get out of their way. And true leaders don't demand that people adapt to their style. The leader adapt their style to meet the person need. Okay, and so as we get ready to close this, that was my thing for today. I really want us to understand we don't have to tear each other down to prove that we're right, and that there's more than one solution to a problem. It really is. No one problem have the same answer. And you can have 5 or 6 solution to a problem, and the reason being is because there's a multi multiplicity, something like that, of problems. that make up that one solution. All right. So I want to leave you with this enduring thought. We all should know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry, and we must understand that all the threads of the tapestry are equal in value, no matter their colors. So there's some solution. The solution are equal in value, even though they may be different colors. And I want you to understand that. I want you to understand that we all have, and don't hold on to your perspective or your thought of solution because they got one out there. Find out how you fit in and make it work. Keep your mind open. Keep your heart steady. And remember to fix the building, not the builder. Okay? Remember, you don't have to tear each other down. You don't have to do all of that. You don't have to fight one another. And don't be a part of a team that does that. That's a suggestion to you. That's a suggestion. So I want to thank you for joining me today. It's been absolutely phenomenal having you. I greatly appreciate you for that. We're about ready to get out of here. Join me tonight for Bible study. Yours truly will be teaching. I'm teaching tonight. So join me tonight for Bible study. Gonna be absolutely fantastic. Gonna be absolutely have a good topic. So I want you to join me, and then tune in with me Sunday morning for Sunday school at 10 a.m. and morning worship at 11 a.m. So as I conclude, I want to leave you this: start tearing down the builder and start fixing the building. Show up for the problem, stand up for the person, and watch how the world changes right before your eyes. Your legacy isn't what you leave for people, it's what you leave in people. That's real talk.
Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio. Real talk with Judy. Real talk with Judy on the radio.